Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here and all things physical media. And today we are talking about some discs from the great folks at Indicator. You can check everything out from them at powerhousefilms.co.uk. Definitely a bookmark I recommend you add to your computer. So we got a few things to go through here. We will start with a lovely new box set. This is the Columbia Horror box set. They've, of course, done Columbia Noir box sets, quite a few, and they're all great. And this doesn't say Volume 1, so I don't know if there'll be a second, but we can hope, because this is a really neat set. Some of these have been released before, but I think a few haven't. And I will go through that in a second here, but just to give you a look at this of course has the belly band you take off, and is in a lovely sort of matte finished, beautiful, sturdy Indicator box. And then inside we have all our discs. We have our book, which again is never a booklet. This is an actual book full of essays and interviews and such, and we'll go through that as well. Okay, let us start with Airhawks. Actually, there's quite a few films in here to talk about, but we'll start with Airhawks, and also on this disc is Island of Doomed Men. So what we'll see is that they often have posters displayed on the front and inside flap of the discs on the inside in the cardboard cases. Okay, so Airhawks is interesting and was a new watch for me. Well, I should just go through real quick. All the films included: Behind the Mask, 1932; Black Moon, 1934; Airhawks, 1935; Island of Doomed Men, 1940; Cry of the Werewolf, 1944; and Soul of a Monster, 1944 as well. Let's see here. This one, like I said, includes Airhawks and Island of Doomed Men. I'm kind of going out of order, but bear with me. Okay. So I'll start with Airhawks, because that was one that I got to check out for the first time. And that one is, interestingly, kind of like, it's kind of like Ceiling Zero, which is a Howard Hawks movie. You know, a little bit of the other one that he would do a couple years later, which is, of course, Only Angels Have Wings. So that's like a big one, but it's one of these where it's about like an sort of an airport, airstrip, independent air delivery service. And in this case, in Ceiling Zero and in Only Angels Have Wings, they're menaced by the weather, and such. But in this case, they are menaced. You're like, how does that fit into a horror box set? Well, in this case, they're menaced by a mad scientist who has figured out this weapon that basically it's almost like it's shooting microwaves or something at the planes, and they burst into flames in the midair and crash. And so basically we have a case where Ralph Bellamy's running this small air delivery service, and there are some powers that be that want to buy it, and he doesn't want to sell. And so they get this mad scientist involved. And it's tricky because it's not even like you can see like a gigantic laser beam shooting up into the sky. You just kind of see him fire the thing, and then the planes kind of blow up. So it takes a little while to figure it out. And then it becomes sort of a mad dash at the end to take care of that business. But it's definitely interesting. And I just I like this sort of airplane, airstrip kind of movie. It was kind of a thing back then, like delivering the mail or whatever was kind of a big deal. So Ralph Bellamy, Tala Burrell, Victor Killian, Douglas Dumbrill, a lot of other actors besides Bellamy that I don't know in this case. But it precedes Ceiling Zero by 1 year. Ceiling Zero came out the next year from Hawks. I definitely recommend Ceiling Zero, although it's not on Blu-ray at this time. Okay, so included with the Airhawks set, of course, is Island of Doom Men. And Island of Doom Men is about an undercover agent wrongly punished for murder that is paroled to a remote tropical island with a diamond mine slave labor camp sort of thing run by a sadistic foreigner. That one, I'm just curious, I'll go through their little synopses here. They say 6 bone-chilling tales from the vaults of Columbia Pictures, starring a host of classic horror genre's most celebrated names, including Ralph Bellamy, Nina Folk, Rosa Hobart, Jekyll and Hyde, Jack Holt, Boris Karloff, Peter Lorre, and Fay Wray. Let's see. In Airhawks, pioneering aviators are tormented by rivals operating a horrifying death ray. Island of Doom Men sees an undercover agent infiltrating a remote penal colony presided over by a madman, Peter Lorre. So this set includes audio commentary on Airhawks with film historian Jeremy Arnold, audio commentary on Island of Doom Men with film historians Alexander Heller Nicholas and Josh Nelson. I'm a big fan of them as a duo. I've mentioned that in the past, and I love that they'll do things for titles as varied as, Island of Doom Men and Cool as Ice. Or I think they did Kindergarten Cop. They were all over the place, and I love that. Definitely cinema omnivores. Okay, Darkness of the Morbid Brain, a 17-minute interview with Jonathan Rigby, author of American Gothic, 6 Decades of Classic Horror Cinema. He looks at the life and career of iconic performer Peter Lorre, so that's very cool. And New York to Berlin in 26 hours. It's a 2-minute newsreel footage short of aviator Wiley Post, who plays himself in Airhawks, which is kind of interesting. This is a UK premiere of Island of Doom Men on Blu-ray, a world premiere of Airhawks on Blu-ray. Okay, so probably should have done this disc first. This is the earliest films in the set. This is Behind the Mask and Black Moon. And world premiere of Behind the Mask on Blu-ray, UK premiere of Black Moon. Black Moon, I think, got a Blu-ray from Imprint earlier this year, maybe. So Behind the Mask, they say the dastardly Dr. X murders his patients and smuggles narcotics in their coffins. It's a good setup. And Black Moon sees a cursed daughter return to the island where her parents perished in a voodoo ceremony. So kind of a cool pairing of these two films. And I haven't had a chance to check out both of them, but definitely curious about both. Love this early Karloff at Columbia stuff, so I'm definitely intrigued. And these are high-definition remasters of both films, tinted and black and white presentations of Black Moon, so apparently that had a tinted presentation as well. Audio commentary on Behind the Mask with filmmaker and film historian Daniel Kramer. Audio commentary on Black Moon with critics and authors Stephen Jones and Kim Newman. Love them. Again, one of my favorite duos out there doing commentaries, period. A Gentleman of Leisure. 11-minute interview with author and academic Sheldon Hall as he assesses the career of Jack Holt, the forgotten star behind the Mask and Black Moon. And he is, of course, on the cover here. Let's see here. So then we have the BEHP interview with Constance Cummings, 1997, 69 minutes. Archival audio recording made as part of the British Entertainment History Project of the Behind the Mask actor in conversation with Roy Fowler. So I mentioned that. Yep. All right. So that's cool. And then we have a last disc. So again, we have Behind the Mask and Black Moon. And the last one we have Cry the Werewolf and Soul of a Monster. Now, this one, in Cry the Werewolf, a beautiful female lycanthrope vows to murder those who discover her family's secret. And for those whose nerves are still intact, the Soul of a Monster tells the tale of a woman who makes a diabolical deal to save her husband's life. Following through here. Now, these are both world premieres on Blu-ray. None of these have been on Blu-ray before, ever. So I love world premieres on Blu-ray, and Indicator's pretty good about that. They tend to, with these sets, there always tends to be some kind of world premiere, which is neat. So again, high definition remasters of both. Audio commentary on Cry the Werewolf with academic and curator Eloise Ross. Audio commentary on Soul of a Monster with critics and authors Stephen Jones and Kim Newman. Again, wonderful. Casting Shadows, a 21-minute brand new interview with archivist Tom Vincent as he provides an overview of the award-winning career of prolific cinematographer Burnett Guffey. And Don't Kill Your Friends, 1943, 14-minute World War II short film featuring Cry the Werewolf actor Nina Foch, and Cry the Werewolf image gallery with Soul of a Monster. Limited edition 100-page book with new essays by Bethan Roberts, Ellen Wright, Sergio Angelini, Paul Duane, Tim Snelson, and Jeff Billington. Archival profiles of actors Boris Karloff, Fay Wray, and Rochelle Hudson. Archival reports on the death of Airhawks actor Wiley Post. Extracts from Cry the Werewolf press book. An examination of actor Ross Hobart's blacklisting. New writing on Don't Kill Your Friends, and film credits. So this is limited edition. There's only 6,000 of these sets that will include this book, which is really nice. I love the Indicator books a lot, actually. They're just wonderful. Okay, so that is really exciting, and very excited to have a new Columbia set from Indicator. Okay, so next up we have another thing that they've been doing quite a bit of, which is delving into Mexican horror. So we have El Vampyro, The Vampire and the Vampire's Coffin, two blood-sucking tales from Mexico. And these are films that are out of my line. Like, I've never heard of these. Mexican horror and noir has been one of the great discoveries through physical media that I've had over the last, 5, 6, 7 years. And I hope it continues, because there seems to be a lot of great stuff that is lesser known. So it says here, El Vampyro, Two Bloodsucking Tales from Mexico brings together a pair of atmospheric and terrifying classics of Mexican Gothic, directed by Fernando Mendez, who did The Black Pit of Dr. M, and starring Adrienne Welter, Abel Salazar, and in a star-making turn, German Robles from The Brainiac. In The Vampire, El Vampyro, the beautiful, bereaved Marta travels, that's Ariadne Weltner, travels with Enrique Salazar to visit her sick aunt in her ancestral home. There, the mysterious neighbor Duval, that's Robles, offers to buy the family's decrepit hacienda. However, Duval is really Count Carol de Lavid, a vampire whose aim is to drain Marta of her blood and revive his entombed brother. That is, again, this has got 2 discs and a nice book as well, and a nice hard case. I just love the Indicator hard cases. All right, so that is that one, and it includes a 4K restoration from the original camera negative by Labo, original Spanish mono audio, alternative English mono audio, audio commentary with lead actor German Robles from 2007. That's very cool. And The Mark of Abel, a 22-minute interview with sisters Claudia Salazar Arenas and Rosa Salazar Arenas, sharing their personal stories about their father, the legendary actor, producer, and director Abel Salazar. Very cool. 22-minute interview, brand new. Who's Afraid of Carmen Montejo? 31 minutes. Brand new film programmer, curator, and Mexican horror expert, cinema horror expert Abraham Castillo Flores examines the life and career of Cuban-born radio, stage, and screen actor Carmen Montejo. And this is a world premiere on Blu-ray, as is the other one. Both are world premieres on Blu-ray. Yeah, so that's the first one. Very curious about both of these. And then we have The Vampire's Coffin. And that one, let's see here, is the sequel. In the sequel, Vampire's Coffin, grave robbers bring Lavud's corpse to Enrique's city hospital, where Marta now works as a nurse. Duly reanimated, Lavud sets about his bloody plan to make Marta his bride. And I should mention, it says predating Hammer Films' Dracula by a year. These are from 1957 and 58, respectively. The Vampire's uniquely Mexican take on the vampire mythology was the first film to give its antagonist elongated fangs, and its success kickstarted Mexico's horror boom. Restored from original negatives, these films finally received their world Blu-ray premiere in this individually numbered edition 2-disc set. It has the 80-page book, which I'll get to in a second. But so Vampire's Coffin, again, high-definition remaster from 2K Scans by Alameda Films. Original Spanish mono audio, alternative English mono audio, Memories of a Storyteller, 22-minute brand new featurette. Novelist Juan Ramon Oban shares stories about the life and career of his esteemed father, the prolific screenwriter Ramon Oban. Great Mexican Vampire, another brand new featurette, 20 minutes. Horror specialist Roberta Coria discusses German Robles and the representation of the vampire myth in Mexican cinema, as well as another new featurette, 15 minutes, From the Drawing Board. The previous one's called The Great Mexican Vampire. From the Drawing Board, film historian and curator Elisa Lozano examines the work and impact of revered artist and production designer Gunther Gerso. Original Mexican theatrical trailer, new and improved English translation, subtitles. The limited edition 80-page book. This includes a new essay by Jesus Palacios, archival essays by Eduardo de la Vega, Alfaro, and Carmen Serrano, archival interviews with Carmen Montejo and Ariadne Welter, David Wilt on cinematographers, Rosalio Solano and Victor Herrera, an overview of contemporary critical response. And this is an 8,000 unit set for these, and that's where the book will be included. But more Mexican horror. I just love what they're doing there, over at Indicator. They're just always getting on these interesting runs, and it's such a great mix of classic cinema, lately Mexican cinema. It's just really wonderful. Wonderful label, one of my true favorites, and I've said that a lot, but they continue to impress, we'll say. Okay. A couple more things. We have a movie called Guest House Paradiso, which was totally off my radar. There's definitely some stuff in the next two, especially, that I think are big favorites in the UK that maybe don't have quite the same footprint over here. Although this only lists this as a UK Blu-ray premiere, so it's obviously not the world premiere. But after a decade of honing their signature characters, Richie and Eddie, across TV and stage show appearances, British comedy legends Rick Mayall and Adrian Edmondson, the comic strip presents, and The Young Ones, finally gave the pair the big screen outing which they truly deserved in the riotous, vomit-soaked entertainment that is Guest House Paradiso. When Mr. Nice, Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead, and his family check into the cheapest hotel in Britain, run with maximum efficiency and malfeasance by Richie and Eddie, it sets off an outrageous chain of events involving rubber underwear, a beautiful Italian film star, her abusive fiancé, Vincent Cassel, and a consignment of radioactive fish. Featuring a spectacular supporting cast, which includes Fenella Fielding, who's in Carry On Screaming, and Bill Nighy. This slapstick tour de force is a latter-day classic of disreputable British comedy, which has to be seen to be believed. This is from 1999, by the way. But yeah, Simon Pegg on the front there. Okay, so 4K original restoration from the original Inner Positive, original 5.1 sound and stereo audio tracks. The making of Guest House Paradiso from 1999, 38-minute archival documentary featuring interviews with actor, co-writer, and director Adrian Edmondson, actor, co-writer Rick Mayall, and producer Phil McIntyre, and actors Fenella Fielding, Helen Mayhew, and Simon Pegg. Paradiso Peg. This is a new-ish from last year. 12-minute interview with celebrated actor and writer, comedian Simon Pegg, in which he looks back at his time making this film. All the Right Noises, the brand new 16-minute interview with prolific film and television composer Colin Towns as he talks about the score. A Finely Tuned Madness, also new, 8-minute interview with veteran actor Sean Barton discussing his working methods and the art of cutting comedy. Squalid Precision, also brand new, 19 minutes. Production designer Tom Brown explores the guest house set, and outtakes from the film, 9 minutes from the 1999, I guess, DVD release, I would imagine. 6,000 copies, limited edition. Includes a 40-page booklet with a new essay by John Robertson and an archival on-set report, an archival interview with Adrian Edmondson and Rick Mayall, an overview of contemporary critical responses, and film credits. So that is Guest House Paradiso. And lastly, we have The Complete Confessions. And this is another one where, I'm less aware of, what this is about. This is kind of like they had Confessions of was it Taxi Cab Driver? They had a whole other box set of these. Robin Asquith stars in The Complete Confessions, 1974 to 1977, the definitive collection of the celebrated British sex comedy series based on the pseudonymous Timothy Lee novels by screenwriter Christopher Wood, The Spy Who Loved Me. Each installment follows the fortunes of the feckless and accident-prone, yet seemingly irresistible Timmy, that is Asquith, as he gets embroiled in the money-making schemes of his brother-in-law, Sidney Nugget, Anthony Booth. The fun starts with... Well, I'll go through these. So this is another, nice box set. And we have 4 discs in here plus a book, which we'll get to. Okay, so let's see. Confessions of a Window Cleaner is the first. And fun starts with Confessions of a Window Cleaner, as Timmy must satisfy the demands of a clientele of lonely housewives whilst attempting to woo police officer Liz, Linda Hayden, Blood on Satan's Claw. In Confessions of a Pop Performer, I'll go through these one at a time, but I'll just read the synopses now. Timmy endures the ups and downs and ins and outs, nudge, nudge, of the music business when he joins a band managed by Sid. With Confessions of a Driving Instructor, Timmy finds his female students fumbling for his gear stick. Finally, in a Confessions of a Holiday Camp entertainment officer, Timmy struggles to organize a beauty contest under the watchful eye of the camp's tyrannical new manager. So these are from the 70s, but they almost feel like the proto-80s sex comedies from the UK in a way. Director Val Guest and directed by Val Guest and Norman Cohen, this classic quartet features a supporting cast of British comedic greats, including Bill Maynard, Doris Hare, Windsor Davies, John Le Mesurier, Liz Fraser. As beloved by audiences as they were reviled by critics, the Confessions series sparked a string of imitators and stand as a time capsule of the fashion and attitudes of the 1970s Britain, which is cool. Along with a new array of new commentaries, interviews, this Blu-ray premiere collection also includes producer Greg Smith's follow-up feature film, Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse, which was adapted from Christopher Wood's Confessions of a Night Nurse. So these are all world premieres on Blu-ray, I think. Yes. Okay, so Confessions of Window Cleaner, high definition remaster, original mono audio commentary with much loved star of the series Robin Asquith, which is a new commentary, very cool. Hey Judy, brand new 17-minute interview with cult film actor Judy Matheson, as she recalls her working alongside veteran director Val Guest and co-star Asquith. I do think it's interesting that Val Guest directed or co-directed these, because he's obviously a big genre guy, and I find that fascinating. So that's Hey Judy. The BEHP interview with Val Guest from 1988, 90 minutes, archival audio recording of the veteran director whose career stretched from Will Hay to Cannon and Ball, in conversation with Roy Fowler. Okay, Confessions of a Pop Performer. Looks like so. And all these have some kind of internal alternate artwork as well. High definition remaster, original mono audio commentary with, again, Robin Asquith, brand new. Confessions of a Film Composer, a brand new 17-minute interview with prolific film and television composer and TV music writer Ed Welch, the man responsible for scoring 3 of the Confession films, as well as Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse. So that's a 17-minute new interview with him. Teammates, brand new 4-minute interview with veteran broadcaster David Hamilton, discussing his cameo in the film and his friendship with Asquith. And then we move on to Confessions of a Driving Instructor. And this high definition remaster, original mono audio, a Robin Asquith commentary, great. Cunning Stunts, 2015 or 2024, 15-minute interview with Britain's most celebrated stunt performer Rocky Taylor, as he recalls highlights from his 60-year career and talks about his experiences working on the 2 of the Confessions films. The BHP interview with Jeffrey Foote, 1988, 74-minute archival audio recording of the editor of 3 of the Confessions films and Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse, in conversation with Sidney Cole and Alan Lawson. And this also includes a Super 8 version, a 2-part cut-down home cinema presentation. And then lastly, we have Confessions from a Holiday Camp. And high definition presentation, original mono audio. Now this one has the Rosie Dixon Night Nurse from 1978, 88 minutes, directed by Justin Cartwright and featuring numerous Confessions alumni. This saucy tale from the pen of Christopher Wood is presented in 1:3:3:1 using the best available standard definition material. So that's a bonus feature on this disc. Audio commentary on Confessions of a Holiday Camp, again with Robin Asquith. Saucy Ingredients, a 7-minute interview with casting director Esta Charkham, discusses Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse, and the unique job of casting a British sex comedy. And then we have, of course, the book. This is a 5,000 unit run. So this is actually a really pretty hefty book. And this includes limited edition exclusive 120-page book with new essay by Simon Sheridan, archival articles on producer Greg Smith, executive producer Michael Klinger, screenwriter and novelist Christopher Wood, director Norman Cohen, and actors Robin Asquith, Sheila White, and Linda Hayden. Archival production reports on Confessions of a Driving Instructor and Rosie Dixon, Night Nurse, and film credits. So very nice box set. Again, a series of films that may be lesser known in the States. And so I love that Indicator highlights these very British film series. But that will do it for this round of good new stuff from Indicator. And like I said, powerhousefilms.co.uk is where you can check all of these out and more, as Indicator's always announcing new stuff. One that I'm really excited about, I should add, is their upcoming release of Sahara, which is a World War II tank movie with Humphrey Bogart, and it's one of my favorite tank movies, one of my favorite underrated Bogart performances, and that is, I believe, the world premiere of that on Blu-ray. It's going to be a Region B Blu-ray, but it is coming from Indicator, and I cannot wait. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.